Something big has just leaked out of Ottawa. And it's not just another policy draft, not another political rumor. This time, it's something that could reshape Canada's entire economic identity. They're calling it the Buy Canadian policy. And according to insiders, it's not just a slogan, it's a revolution quietly being planned under Prime Minister Mark Carney's leadership. For months, whispers have been spreading through the corridors of Parliament Hill. Advisors, ministers, and economic strategists have been meeting behind closed doors, crafting something bold, something different, something that could shift the way Canada does business forever. The plan was supposed to remain confidential. But now, details have leaked. And what they reveal is nothing short of explosive. The Buy Canadian policy, Carney's most ambitious project yet, aims to transform Canada's economy from the ground up. Not by slogans. Not by speeches. But by reshaping how this country buys, sells, builds, and grows. And if the leaks are true, the policy's ultimate goal is simple, yet radical: put Canada first in every major economic decision. It starts with government contracts. For decades, Canada has opened its public spending to foreign suppliers, often choosing cheaper imports over Canadian-made goods. Carney wants to end that. His plan demands that Canadian tax dollars, billions of them, stay inside Canada. Canadian materials. Canadian companies. Canadian workers. At first, critics dismissed the idea as protectionist. But behind the scenes, even some of his opponents have admitted, Carney's logic makes sense. Because the truth is, global markets are no longer fair. Across the border, the United States has already rolled out its own Buy American policy. Europe has its local industry protections. China guards its markets with invisible walls. Everyone is protecting their own, except Canada. Until now. That's the message Carney is sending: Canada will no longer be the polite trading partner that gets left behind. The leaked documents describe an economic reset, a plan to strengthen national industries, secure domestic jobs, and make Canada less dependent on unstable foreign markets. And that's where the story gets even more interesting. One of the most talked about sections of the leak outlines something called the Canadian Advantage Framework. A policy mechanism that gives preference to homegrown businesses in every major federal project. From railways to renewable energy, from construction to clean tech, Canadian companies would be prioritized first. But that's only part of the plan. Carney reportedly wants to expand the program to the private sector as well. That means incentives for local businesses, tax breaks for companies that manufacture in Canada, and massive investment in Canadian innovation. The idea isn't just to protect what we have, it's to make Canada a global powerhouse in its own right. The leaks suggest that Carney's economic advisors have been studying how to position Canada at the center of North American supply chains, reducing reliance on foreign imports, especially from countries that don't share Canada's values or environmental standards. It's bold. It's controversial. But it's unmistakably strategic. Inside Ottawa, reactions to the leak have been mixed. Supporters call it visionary. Critics call it nationalistic. But for Carney, this is personal. He's seen firsthand how fragile global systems can be. He's watched supply chains crumble during crises. He's seen how vulnerable Canada becomes when others control what we buy and sell. And now, he's determined to change that story, once and for all. Those close to Carney say this plan has been months in the making. His team has been quietly consulting economists, union leaders, and industry experts across the country. The goal? To craft a policy that strengthens Canada without isolating it, a balance between global cooperation and national security. In one section of the leaked report, a phrase appears again and again: economic sovereignty. Two words that perfectly capture Carney's vision: a Canada that stands strong on its own feet, that controls its resources, and that doesn't have to depend on foreign approval to succeed. If the leaks are accurate, the policy rollout will be phased in gradually. Starting with infrastructure, then manufacturing, and eventually energy and technology. But the timeline isn't the most shocking part. It's the scale. According to insiders, Carney's Buy Canadian policy could become one of the largest economic initiatives in modern Canadian history, potentially reshaping trade relationships, investment flows, and even Canada's diplomatic position with other nations. But Carney knows what he's stepping into. Such a bold move won't come without resistance. Major corporations that rely on cheap foreign imports are already lobbying against it. International partners may question Canada's direction. And some politicians will no doubt call it risky. Yet Carney seems unfazed. Because for him, the risk of doing nothing is far greater. In his recent speeches, Carney has subtly hinted at his economic philosophy, that the world is changing faster than we think, and that countries that fail to adapt will be left behind. He's repeatedly said that Canada must build resilience from within, and this leaked policy seems to be the living embodiment of that idea. He's not trying to close Canada off from the world. He's trying to prepare Canada for it, a world that's becoming more competitive, more uncertain, and more divided. What makes this story even more suspenseful is how quiet Carney's office has been since the leaks emerged. No denials. No confirmations. Just silence. And that silence is fueling even more speculation. Some believe the leak was intentional, a calculated move to test public reaction. Others think it was a genuine breach that caught the Prime Minister's team off guard. But either way, the message is spreading fast. Carney is planning to rewrite Canada's economic future. And for ordinary Canadians, that could mean big changes ahead. More opportunities for small businesses. More demand for Canadian-made products. More pride in the Made in Canada label. But also, short-term challenges. Higher costs, industry adjustments, and possible tension with foreign partners. Carney, however, seems ready for all of it. He's betting on long-term strength over short-term convenience. Economists describe his vision as a new era of economic independence, one that could redefine what it means to be Canadian in a globalized world. For years, Canada's role has been that of a reliable, modest middle player. But under Carney's leadership, that could change. He's signaling that Canada is ready to stand tall, make bold moves, and protect its own interests with confidence. Behind the calm, measured tone of Mark Carney lies a strategist who's been preparing for this moment for decades. He's seen the fragility of global finance, the volatility of markets, and the danger of dependency. And now, he's turning that insight into action. If this policy truly becomes law, it could affect everything. From the price of the food we eat, to the cars we drive, to the way our government invests in the future. It's not just another economic plan. It's a declaration of independence. A statement that Canada is ready to chart its own course, no longer a follower, but a leader. And that's why this leak matters so much. Because for the first time in years, Canadians are asking a different kind of question, not, what will the world do to us, but, what can we do for ourselves? Carney's vision is not about isolation. It's about empowerment. It's about rebuilding confidence in Canadian talent, Canadian innovation, and Canadian production. It's about reminding the world, and ourselves, that this country has everything it needs to thrive. So as the dust settles and Ottawa scrambles to manage the political fallout, one thing is becoming clear. This leak wasn't just a story. It was a spark. A spark that could ignite the biggest economic shift Canada has seen in decades. And if the rumors are true, if this plan truly rolls out in the coming months, then the next chapter of Canada's future won't be written in Washington, or Beijing, or Brussels. It will be written right here, in Canada, by Canadians, for Canadians. Because this isn't just about buying Canadian products. It's about believing in Canada again. And Mark Carney knows exactly how to make that happen.